attack vector. This is something that came up during our meetings and gatherings at HackMiami. Uh, for those who are in Florida or come to visit, we meet at the Cyber Pizza Cafe in Dania Beach. And you can find us at meetup.com/HackMiami, hackmiami.org. And I'm here with Seth Wahle, whose picture has been everywhere in the last 2 weeks. He's going to tell you a little bit on what has happened as a result of this exposure, some backlash from the actual biohacking community, and we will clarify some of the items that did not come up at the Forbes article, which we actually liked, but there are several things that we assume because of the space constraints and editorial did not come up. So, who are we? For most of you that go to HackMiami, you know who I am. I've been working on information security for probably 10, 15 years. And I am one of the main organizers at HackMiami. And I work right now for a startup that does artificial intelligence, machine learning, and security analytics. And then I do a lot of pen testing, vulnerability assessments, and I've been a security consultant for quite a bit. So here's the man with the chip. Okay. So, name's Seth Wahle. I know how to work microphones. So, I'm an engineer. I work on radio frequency products and I build all kinds of electronics. Anything you could think of. It's worthwhile. Okay. Okay. Alright. I was not a part of HackMiami at the beginning, and I actually was doing I was going to school online, and I would go to Cyber Pizza Cafe to do my homework because I was cheap and I didn't want to pay for internet. You guys hear him? No. Start at the beginning. How about that? Okay, go. This is working. All right. So at the beginning, I wasn't actually part of HackMiami, and I was just going to school, and I would do my homework at Cyber Pizza Cafe. And everybody kind of walked in for a meeting, and I was sitting there, and they were doing really cool stuff. So I just started getting involved with HackMiami. And then I was also on the side doing some biohacking stuff on my own, because I like to deal with hardware and all that stuff. And found out that I had a chip in my hand, and then we started working on doing this exploit to hack Android phones using the chip. With a chip in their hand. I mean, it can happen to anybody, right? No, I approached him. He was sitting, was eating pizza or something. And then I looked at him like, you look like you may like computers. And then all of a sudden he came up and said, I have an actual chip in my head. And I said, I don't think so. So I was actually very skeptical. And the irony of this talk is that it almost never happened. I was actually going to shut it down because I was very skeptical of if he really had something in there, right? So it wasn't until, if you actually go to my Vine account, you will see the first moment ever that we actually put a phone on his hand. And we're all like, oh man. So from there, we started brainstorming of things that we could do. And then eventually we came up with using a phone with off-the-shelf, publicly available exploitation technology to showcase how you can compromise a phone using an implantable chip. So go ahead and tell them the story. How is it that you decided to, we're going to show a video at one point. It might be a little graphic. But go ahead.
So I was looking at implantable magnets that let you feel magnetic waves or anything like that. And then I got onto the NFC because I thought that was a little cool. I went through the whole process that you would do for pacemakers for testing. So I actually got a reference design, modified it to my liking, sent it off to labs, went to 3 different independent labs, got independent research and testing on all of my chips and made sure that they were super safe and everything, because I didn't want to implant something that I didn't trust. And that's one of the big things that I think that the biohacking community needs to take to heart, is that you can't trust anybody to just stab stuff into you. Do your research. Don't take it lightly. If you're not comfortable, don't do it. I'm comfortable with it because I did a lot of research. I learned a lot in the process about crush testing and biocompatibility and more things than I even wanted. But I see that biohacking is kind of taking off, and it's getting a little traction, and it needs talent to really take off. And maybe in the next 25 to 50 years, we'll have really cool things that can do really powerful things that can also be really dangerous to our infrastructure. So this is like the tip of the iceberg. It's just showing that somebody can implant something in their hand that can compromise your security, and in the future something way more powerful could come out. And you could have implant O-days just coming out and people just walking around doing crazy things.
Okay.
Yeah, can you give an examples of how you can easily die trying to do what you just did?
All right, so every electronic component ever made essentially is made of heavy metals. So you have the lead, you have the fiberglass, you have the silicon. The stuff that you're putting into your body that's made out of electronics will kill you if you don't wrap it in something that won't kill you. So you have to make sure that everything is tediously isolated from your body. Also, if you just inject things in yourself, you can puncture something or cut something you're not supposed to cut and bleed out because you passed out. So have spotter. Have somebody helping you if you do it. Inside the capsules, there's the chip which can kill you from heavy metal poisoning. There's a toxic epoxy in some of them. I use a special chip that I had made, but some of the manufacturers that just make chips for animals, they use a toxic epoxy because if you lose a cow, there's no lawsuit. Also, if you have a bacteria that gets into the capsule when it's being produced and it's not sterilized before they seal it, that bacteria can grow and cause a colony inside the chip for the next 10 years until that capsule crushes, and then you have a massive dose of dead. So you have to make sure that you actually take the time and the precautions to know what you're putting into yourself and not kill yourself.
There's been some rumors that this is the mark of the beast, 666 or something. You want to clarify that? And actually, you can actually look at this slide. There is actually legislation that already prohibits the implantation of people. I'm not mind controlling you, right? I'm not telling you what to do. This is not a plan from the. All right.
So yeah, a lot of people do say that it's they get called 666 more than these. God's gonna brand everybody with something special that makes you known for going to hell, but it's not. Anybody who says that is actually just ignorant. It's just technology, and it's going down the path that humans evolved to a certain point. Human evolution from this point forward relies on our ability to build tools to better ourselves. So I like to call it neo-evolution. It's like post-evolution. So from this point forward, everything that we do to better ourselves is made by us. We're in control of our own destiny. Yeah, some places that they're using this, the chips, actually, I think they have a school and some offices and stuff like that around the country, and I think around other countries as well. But they're using it for personnel identification and tracking. So like access to secured spaces where you would have like a badge like this. They'll put it into the person's hand so it can't be stolen. They can't steal the badge because it's inside the person. And so the staff will swipe their hands, and you know when they come into work, when they go away from work, when they access the data center, when they do this or that. So a lot of people really don't like that because it kind of, I guess it kind of violates your privacy if you're forced to do that, but I guess you shouldn't really have an opt-out for it. But that's kind of some of the stuff that people are using them for commercially. There's been some other people who have been interested in
Sorry. There are companies in Europe that are already implanting people for identification and to allow you to get access to the companies. So can you tell me when you go actually on the gas station and you pay the gas with your hand?
So, Racetrack has a thing called Speed Pass. It's a dongle for a keychain dongle that has an NFC chip in it. And if you wave the dongle in front of the scanner, they have your information in their database, and you can pay for gas that way. So, I'll go to the gas station. I take my dongle. I scan it off onto my hand. I clone it over onto my hand, and then I'll go to the guy at the other pump. I go, hey, dude. I'll tell you how to get some free gas. Pump the gas. These are not the droids you're looking for. It pops up, transaction processed. Gas paid for it. Get in the car. He's like, what
the actual specifications of the chip that you use actually.
So in the chip that I use it's an NTAG 216 tag made by NXP Semiconductors. It operates at 13.56 megahertz, and it's wrapped in a shot bioglass capsule. The reason you use the shot bioglass capsule is to protect yourself from the dead. The bioglass is designed to be biocompatible, so your body doesn't reject it and your body doesn't grow into it. So if you put something in your body will either try to push it out. So attack it with white blood cells or like a zit, push it out of the skin, or it will accept it and grow into it. So that's the two things that you have to look out for when you implant something in your body. The bioglass takes care of both of those. You can't permeate it, and it won't get pushed out. And other glass contains lead, and that'll give you lead poisoning. So that's why we use specific shot bioglass.
Is there a risk of this breaking? Yeah. Like if I do martial arts, would that break and poison me and kill me?
No, not necessarily. It's very extremely low if you implant it in the proper places. When you implant something into the skin, you're putting pressure around the entire piece. The entire implant has pressure around it from the skin and your internals. The bioglass capsule that I use can withstand up to 45 pounds of pressure. Tested it 3 times, 3 different places. That being said, it takes a really sharp impact to rupture that glass. But because you put it into a soft tissue area, all of the forces that you take in this spot go into the body. They bypass the chip and go into your muscle. And that allows it to, so I could pretty much drop like a 100-pound plate onto my hand, and it would probably crush my hand before I crushed the chip.
So that,
Can you try? Can you try to crush it?
well, that was sort of my next question. What happens if you get checked in security? You know, you get the freedom check at the airport. Would they would they find it? Would they be able to find it? Like if you go right now on MIA and you opt out, right? And they're going to give you the freedom pad. Will they find it?
Not at all. So the amount of metal that's in the chip is so small that it doesn't even register the metal detectors because it's less than like the button on your pants or the rivets in your pants. It's such a small amount that nobody would ever notice it. Also, the skin produces a Faraday cage effect around the chip, which pretty much protects it from everything else that you would see. The only way to actually find the chip is to either physically touch it through the skin, knowing that it's there, or to use an X-ray and directly X-ray the hand, or wherever you implant it.
Right. So if you go through again MIA and they put you through this thing that goes around you and scans you and shows everything, right? Will they find it?
They won't find it because that's not a targeted X-ray, and I think that's actually the bomb scanner, so that's not even imaging you.
What happens if I get you and I put you through the X-ray machine?
Then you can.
I will.
If you picked me up and put me into a dangerous X-ray machine.
Somebody actually told me I'm going to create something that is going to emit a certain frequency waves that will fry his hand. Somebody told me that. Where's Proxy? Oh, he's not here. Okay.
So I'm a radio frequency engineer. That's what I do for a living, and that's dumb.
Okay, there you go, Proxy.
So, yes.
That was kind of my question. Like, somebody sent like some kind of an electrical signal to it.
Okay. So the way the NFC works is that it operates at 13.56 megahertz. You inject a 13.56 megahertz reference signal. That then resonates the chip. It pushes the energy into a capacitor, and then it basically is a state machine: on state, off state, on state, off state, or charge state, burst state. So it's charging and then it's bursting information, charging and bursting information. So you charge the caps, then use the energy stored in the caps to report the information back out. So when you put your phone up to the NFC tag, it charges the caps, and then the caps the energy in the caps goes out to the memory, takes the memory, modulates the signal, and shoots it back out of the phone. So the only way that you would be able to burn the chip is to oscillate at its resonant frequency, which is the way that it works anyways. So you'd be doing exactly what NFC does all the time.
So before we get into the NFC technology, what happens if you implant yourself and then it doesn't work?
Then you cut it out.
You have done this, right? You told me you cut it once, right?
Yeah, I had a smaller chip. It was the same size chip, but it had less memory on it because I got it like a year earlier. And technology advances, things get smaller, more memory, or more bytes, less disk. So I cut that one out, and because of the way I did mine, I didn't put this bioadhesive stuff on the outside of the capsule, which a lot of other tag manufacturers do, because the tags were originally designed for cattle tracking. They put them in the ears of the cattle, and when the cow walks past the sensor on the gate, they heard them through little channels. It goes beep, and now I know where the cow has gone. Cow 1 has gone from pasture 1 to pasture 2.
Slaughterhouse
So
One.
They don't want
Slaughterhouse.
those tags to slide around in the cow's ears because they want it to be lined up with the sensor. For humans, you don't want to cut giant chunks out of your body when you want to remove it. So you take that off and just let it slide around a little bit in the pocket that you create in the skin. That being said, without that bioadhesive stuff, all you have to do is actually make a small incision with a scalpel and push it from the back straight back out of the pocket.
Hey, Rod,
Yeah.
is there any way you can swap mics with him because your mic
Mine is better, yeah, for sure.
And just don't put it here. Actually, you know what? Mic hack. Just go here, get close. That's it.
Okay.
Of course, I'm louder now.
Turn the volume down here a little bit.
Well, it looks like you got mic karma. Yeah. Let's check this out. Just put it close. Okay.
All right, where are we at?
Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about what are NFC tags.
All right. So in the NFC system, there's two types of parts. There's the NFC tag, and then there's the NFC reader/writer. It's basically you have an active component and a passive component. The passive component is your tag. It only works when you have the other component. That is the reader/writer, and that is feedback.
Turn off your mics. Just turn off the mic.
This works better.
Yes, sir.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I can talk like this. All right. So, as I was saying, there's the active component, the reader writer, and the passive component, the tag. The tag is dumb. It only works with the active part, the reader writer. The tag takes in power from the reader writer and it puts out information to the reader writer. The reader writer does the opposite. It puts out power to the tag and it receives information from the tag. That's about it.
About it? Now, there's a fundamental question. Does it hurt?
Yes, it does hurt for a very short amount of time.
What's the life expectancy on one of those capsules? Like how long will it read and write for? They have like an average?
100,000 writes, unlimited reads.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, sir. What about wreck diving, pressure in the water?
I don't suspect that would cause any issues, but I don't know. Because you have your own internal body pressure. So, because Ben's effect and stuff, I don't know. So, this is the injector. Pass them around, I guess.
You sell it, right?
Yeah, so.
It's a shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. Swag.
Alright, yeah, just go ahead and please don't try it on your own. We're joking, okay? How much does it cost to do the operation?
I sell the actual tags for $65, and then because it's really hard to get somebody in South Florida to do it, because the piercing and body modification shops have a lot of regulations outside the normal, like, ear piercing and tattoo. That's it. You have a scalpel in the shop, $100,000 fine, you get shut down, you get put in jail, you get bad things.
Yeah. Generally.
It happens once, you get fined twice, you go to jail 3 times.
Florida, probably yes.
Yes, I don't know what happened, particularly, but you don't want to find out.
You injected yourself?
I don't inject it myself because I don't believe you should ever do any surgical type procedure by yourself. You need to have someone there who is okay with seeing blood. Because some people think when they see blood, find somebody who's okay with seeing blood. Because it's a really simple procedure. All you do is remove the skin, and you inject it, and make a pocket, pull it back, deposit the chip into the pocket, pull it out, plop the blood. So, what I did personally, advocating what I do as you feel, not as I do. I went on Craigslist. I found an amateur body modifier tattoo guy, piercer. I paid him $40 to do it because he doesn't have a license and he can't go to jail. You guys, am I talking loud enough for you guys in the back? Okay. Yes. Oh, you're just saying okay. Now asking a question.
So the location, it seems logical. There's research behind it.
Yes, there's research.
Repeat the question.
His question was the location seems logical, but was there research behind it? And there has been a lot of research by biohackers. It's been, I guess you could call it informal research. There was no government grants. It was just people stabbing themselves, finding out this was bad and this is not. So Roxy has 2 in his arms in here, perfectly acceptable place because it's got a soft cushion. The only issue is that it's
Is that Roxy or Miami Roxy?
academic Roxy, yeah. Dr. Raymond Roxy. Yeah. He has 2. One of each arm.
That's awesome.
What's the weirdest place you ever saw like
That was an actual setup,
It hasn't happened yet.
No,
we
you
have
can
a
set up
member-
and
we
you
have
can
a member
donate,
of
and
HackMiami.
if we get enough money, then we're gonna put one in the weirdest place you can put.
Right. That was a setup question. We have a member that has volunteered to put a black chip in a very his I guess his definition personal. Yeah, it's a very personal part. We give it enough money. So yes, that's the answer to your question, and that was a good setup, by the way.
Is that how you track the faithful spouses?
Get them in with the readers.
The question was, how different is this chip from the one that cats and dogs and cows get? The answer is identical. Actually, it's the exact same chip. The integrated circuit is identical because I need the function. The function has to be the same, and it's mass produced. The NXP semiconductors IC is mass produced in extremely high volume, and I can get them for nothing. So the only difference between them and the one that I have is that I made a matching antenna to go with it. It's a 13.56 megahertz antenna, and it's optimized for the least amount of return loss, so that I have good antenna RF characteristics. It should give me a little bit of extra range, but it doesn't really because of the Faraday cage effect of the skin. That's about it. Other than the biocompatibility, it's on the outside of those ones. So different antenna, different group, and tested for being safe for humans. That's the standard. That is the standard capsule for all implantable NFC RFID chips. When you take your manufacturing in China, you get China glass sometimes. So that's dangerous.
I heard, and I'm not sure if it's the same technology, I heard this, I think a month ago when responded to GPS.
That would be something totally different. I'd like to see how they're doing it because I don't think it'll ever work. Because the problem with that is that you need an active source of electricity. Tiny things. My bad. You need an active source of electricity. Now, there is a way that we can do that. We could get an active source of electricity by implanting a piezoelectric nanogenerator on the shoulder, which generates electricity through the blood vessels expanding and contracting as well as your arm's movement. That's being implemented for pacemakers to charge the batteries in pacemakers because pacemakers are always good, but you have to reimplant them every 7 years because the batteries die. So that coupled with some other GPS tracking stuff, it's possible, but a implant with no power sourcing, you can't do GPS with.
Can do GPS as of now.
As of now. Correct. This is Amal Bishrapa, the other guy who sells tags like this, and he's actually at a convention where he is actually allowed to implant because he has the insurance that I'm not going to pay for. And he's implanting one of his customers right now. So this is exactly how you do the procedure. So you can see outside.
So you're not doing it at the party then?
I will give you the chip, and I will unofficially go to an X location. If you want, I will go to an X location completely unaffiliated with HackMiami or the hotel or anything else, and you will not sue me. And I'll take care of it. But other than that, the official answer is no. I will not do your implantation affiliated with HackMiami or the hotel.
Right now, tell me a little bit what has happened with apparently there's been some backlash from the biohacking community. Why do you think that they would react to some of them in a negative manner?
So a couple weeks ago, I had an article in Forbes, and it got me a lot of heat with the biohacking community because of this guy. Basically, the Forbes article had a link to a Chinese cattle tag made in China that has no testing. Nobody knows anything about it. But it was made by the same contract manufacturer that I use to manufacture mine, which is what I told the reporter that I make my tags using this contract manufacturer. They use my materials, my standards, and they build it to my standards using their equipment. He said, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess you just buy tags from random Chinese manufacturer," and just posted an Alibaba up there, like saying, "Hey, everybody who doesn't know anything about this, just buy it off Alibaba and stick it in you." So the biohacking community was pissed off, and I got like at least a phone call, text, or email every 10 minutes for 2 days. And they were saying, "What the hell is this? Why are you telling everybody to stab random cattle trackers in their body from Alibaba?" And I was like, "I didn't." Then you go back to all of the things I was telling you about independent labs, testing it, developing it, and don't do it if you're not comfortable. They didn't realize that I had done all that before I started selling them and before I did my own. And they thought, "Oh, you're an idiot. You just bought something, random thing from China, and now you're going to die." So they were really pissed off because the article kind of said, "Hey, children, buy sharp things and stab yourself."
So now let's talk a little bit about the heating process. How long does it take for it to heat?
So the left picture was
Anybody hungry?
that I got the implant. I went over to the tattoo guy's house, he gave me $40, stabbed it in my hand, I drove home, and I took a picture. right?
So it was 6 a week.
Yeah. To be uninflamed and fully healed, it was about a week. So
That's the question.
What's the life expectancy of the chip? Is it unlimited?
the life of, he's asking what's the life expectancy of the chip. It is 100,000 write cycles, so you can write information to it 100,000 times, and then unlimited reads.
Can you track that in any way?
You can't track it, but I did testing, and I had a program that does a script that write until it breaks, and then read until you get really tired of reading.
100,000 times would be what? Years?
100,000 times. I've written this chip, I would say approximately 90 times in a year. So you will die before you outrun your chip unless you actively attempt to break it. Yes.
Sold.
An MRI because of the magnets sucking it out. No, it shouldn't. I know this because other people have gone through MRIs. On the other side, there has been some reports that it may vibrate and it may heat up slightly, but they said that it was no problem. Like, it didn't affect the tag, it didn't hurt them, it wasn't an issue. It was just they do have, I think it's a lead glove or something that you can put over. They have it for people who have like bolts or something in their hands, so you can request safety measures for it. Yes.
Have you ever heard one getting blown up inadvertently or eventually, whatever? Is there? I'm assuming it has a filter that really has to be really 13.56.
Yeah.
How do you blow them up?
You're talking about like earlier that somebody saying that you can blow it up by hitting it with high amounts of radiation type thing. So to power the tag, you have to resonate the circuit. So to blow something up, to blow up anything ever made, your kneecaps. You can resonate any object ever made with radio frequency at the exact resonant frequency of that object, and you can make it fall apart. It will break. Anything ever made. That being said, you have to resonate this circuit at its resonant frequency to charge it. Therefore, it operates on the thing that would break it. That's what makes it work. So it's basically impossible.
It would be intentional. Is that what I do?
I don't think you can actually do it. I don't think that you can do it at all. Yes.
Often with technology changing, do you see digging out your ship and replacing it?
I have 888 bytes. Oh, he said, with technology evolving and changing, how often do you see taking the chip out and changing it? Tag 216 has 888 bytes. The next tag larger, or actually I think the largest tag, you can get like 4,000 bytes, and it's this big. So if they make 4,000 bytes this big, I will happily do that, because then I can have more capabilities. But the one I had before, I had 116, which wasn't as useful, but it do pretty much all the same stuff I can do now. I just wanted to be able to put like a Bitcoin wallet on it. So Bitcoin wallet would fit on the old one, it fits on the new one.
Let's talk a little bit of yeah, go ahead. We gotta move on.
Relative to like the magnetic strip on a credit card, how much is the 888? Is that the same or 10 times as much? I have no idea.
I believe that the credit card strip can hold like, I don't know, I'm not gonna tell you bullshit, but I know that 888 bytes is bigger than the magnetic strip.
So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the process of exploitation and how we use this.
Okay, so now that we've gone through all of the biohack, put it in your body stuff, now we're going to show you how we use this is a hacker conference, and why just hack your body? Hack your shit too. So, the first thing you have to do when you have an NFC chip is you need a reader writer because it's a dummy part. You need the active part. So I use the phone. All Android phones since I think like 7 years ago, as long as you didn't buy the cheap one, T-Mobile, you get an NFC reader writer on your phone. So you already have one. It's free. All you need is an app to control it. So I use NFC tools, and it allows me to just click right, add what I want to write to it. So say a URL, and then we do like google.com, because that's a great one.
Where do you go?
Google. And then I click the right button. And then if I can do it and show you, right complete. Close the app. You don't need an app to read the tags. If you have NFC enabled, it just reads them and tries to find the appropriate program to run that with. So my phone knows it has settings that say URLs will be loaded with Google Chrome. So if I can read it while trying to show you. Okay, I deleted that setting. So, all right. Sorry. Give me 1 second. So I can have you higher. Alright, it's trying to open up my NFC tag stuff because of the Play with the Badge challenge. So it's saying google.com, but it's not opening it because I messed up my settings playing with the Badge challenge. Normally,
The more one is you can use this as an input, right, for any badge of systems. And actually we have a list right there. Things that you can anything that has an input that uses NFC can be attacked. And can be, these are some examples of the attack vectors that you can use. Yes, please.
Well, Bitcoin wallets have public and private. Just put your public on it. Yeah, and you have it with you all the time.
Is there a way to have your dummy device only be altered by a trusted reader? Like, I can't use my phone to lift stuff off of
So the biggest he's saying, is there a way to make sure that your chip only gets overwritten by a trusted reader, like his reader? He only wants his tag rewritten by his reader, and the answer is no. There is no security in NFC. I take that back. There is one slight shred of security in NFC, and that is that every single chip has what's called a UID. Inside the hardware, inside the chip, there's these things called e-fuses, and there's a whole bank of them, and they're just like fuses. If you hit them with enough electricity, they break. They actually catch on fire. So what you do to set the UID is that you pick a bit string, a binary bit string, and you burn those e-fuses to hold that data forever. You can't ever change it. So if you are ever doing any software involving NFC, use the UID because it makes it significantly more difficult to run your tag. If you don't, anyone can just copy the information onto a different tag, and they can have access to all your shit. Also, as far as writing goes, there is inside that there's also little security bits based on e-fuses, and if you write the tag with the proper setting that says lock this tag, it will burn those e-fuses and you can never write to it again.
Okay, so
Yeah, okay, we're running out of time, so we're gonna show you guys how to hack the phone, and then if we have
Basically,
time.
yes, to give you just an overview of it, basically we chose a off-the-shelf public technology in order to hack the phone. What we're going to do is, what's the phone? Right there. Basically, what we're going to do is I'm going to create a malicious payload and Metasploit. He's going to connect to it. Then, because this is a publicly available payload, he's going to have to allow the exception. Right? I want to make something clear. The reason why we are doing this is because we didn't want to fall into two things. One of them was a responsible disclosure. For the researchers out there, there's a hint for you. There are ways to bypass the prompt for installing applications. We did not want to showcase that because that would put us into the realm of the responsible disclosure. And you would not have seen this presentation because then obviously we have to go to the vendors and tell them, what's going on. However, we can use publicly available technology. We're going to use Metasploit. In Metasploit, we're going to create a interpreter .apk. So basically, what we're going to do is you need to play a little bit of social engineering, which is not that difficult. We can actually disguise an APK as coupons, a business card, you want to connect to my free Wi-Fi, here it is. You have to install this app. You have to give this certain information or data, and then once that is done, and he executes the phone, you will see in there that I will get a shell on the phone, and then from there I will download a picture. First I will show you the operating system of the phone, and then I will show you the picture, which is browser GPG, right? Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple. So there's a couple of caveats. One of them is that the shell is fragile. Like for example, if you close the phone, usually the shell will die. Right? Also, there's no persistence, so there is more work to be done in order to create entrenchment. Entrenchment means the payload will survive and reboot. Right? Wherever the person goes, wherever the victim goes, you will be able to connect back. Obviously, you have to have a listener in order to have that. And this is usually how malware and modern-day botnets work. So with that in mind, you can read that. Just simply what I just said. And we're gonna go ahead and show you the demo quickly. Hopefully, the demo gods are good to us today, and the demo will go good. If not, then we have a video that we can show you where it shows the entire sequence of events. Let's go ahead. Hey, the questions then, you can always count them though. So basically, you already did.
I do use this way to do it. It's very rough. It's straight out of Metasploit. And like you were saying, there is other ways that we can do this that are way more elegant. But we're going to show you from the very beginning. Make the exploit, put it up, link it up with the phone, exploit the phone, the entire sequence.
Go ahead. Are you going to do it already?
I should be, if it's still working. I am connected. Also, when we first did this, when we first tried to do this, he was in a different city than I was. We were on Skype, and we did the entire thing over the internet. And the phone and the computer automatically did all the IP forwarding and everything to make it work through the internet. He was on VPS, and I was on the phone. Today we're using a Wi-Fi, and it's a little bit more difficult because of the Wi-Fi.
Right. The reason why our objective was to show it to you. We're using a VPS. Right? So I have there's very popular VPS out there, such as DigitalOcean, Linux. So actually, the way we did it is he was actually in Boca, and I was at your house, by the way. You're right there. No, don't look back. It's you. And we did it I was in Miami, and all what it did is it basically connected opened the listener basically connected from my house to a VPS, and we were able to do it. The exfiltration of the picture, which is basically what we're going to do, was very successful. The reason why we're not doing it here today is because we have very bad signal, and the wireless is very flaky. So again, this may fail. Just a caveat. If not, then we'll put the video on so you can see it. We would just want to prove you that we did not make this up. Basically, I'm using Metasploit. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use Metasploit. I'm going to create an APK. I'm going to put that APK into a web accessible directory so he can browse to it. Now, remember, if we're looking at an exploitation chain, this will have to get to the victim by two things. In this case, you have to use the hand. So basically, he has to go and put the hand with the chip implanted past the malicious payload download. So as you will see in a minute, it will prompt up and say, hey, you are installing this. So that's where the social engineering comes in. Now remember again, this was a zero day or an exploit that is able to bypass the prompt for application installation. The victim will never see it. And then we will see the shell on our back.
I use social engineering because it's easier than making my own shit.
So the situation, you're basically preloading your chip with the, say, URL to the where the VLAN's at. How are you? Nice phone.
We're actually going to do it right now. We're going to do it so you can see it.
And this is a stock Kali Linux distribution with nothing fancy. You can download it, put it on your box, do all the exact same stuff in the next 5 minutes. So this is he's generating the Android interpreter, the .mpk file, and he's pointing it back to his own console, back to his box, so that when I put the interpreter out onto this phone, it will talk back to him directly. You could point this to like a DNS forwarding service, and that way you would be able to take it from network to network, and you would be able to get the traffic wherever you need it to. So you just specify which payload to use from.
Yeah, we're using that reverse TCP. The payload basically will give you the ability to connect back, and it's usually useful to bypass firewalls and NAT environments. So I'm going to go ahead and generate it. So my IP address is 42.4.
You need to test it.
There's actually exploring a channel. So this is right here. We'll make sure here, and then make sure it's right there. There it is. It's exporting the chain.
So he's going to set up a micro Apache server, hosting out that file. I'm going to write the URL to that file onto my hand. That way I have a way to trigger the attack. I'm just using the chip as the vector. I'm just using it to trigger the download. So I'm writing in a URL and using NFC tools, and I'm going to go to his URL 172.168.1.1.2.4. You see right there on the. And then at the end of the URL, I'm going to put slash the file name, so it goes directly to that file. You said it was basically So I wrote that on, and now I'm going to write that on the end. Okay, right complete. So now I have the URL written to my hand. So now this will point directly to that file. Okay, so it's up. So now scan my hand behind the phone. It brings up the URL, and Wi-Fi died. And it's back. Scan the hand.
Firewall? Oh, there you go.
Downloading now? You got your student steps.
Hey, Rob, is IP tables off? Yeah, right.
He's making the hot box.
So it prompts up with this can harm your device. Are you sure you'd like to install this? Oh yes. I want it. Then it downloads, so I can swipe from the top, and I can click the export to install. Then it says install blocked because there's no signature. It's not signed.
Right.
So I have to install from unknown sources. So it gives me this nice pretty button for settings, so I can change that right now. Download from unknown sources. Okay. Next, install. Now it's installing. My phone's slow. Download too much stuff. Alright, now it's installed. Let's reset it. Okay, so now I click open. At this point, it's running in the background. I think you're out of network. Am I out of network? I am out of network. There it is, but now I have to relaunch it because I fell out of the network. So the only way that you can tell that it's there, because of this, the way we did it, is there's a thing called main activity. So I'm just going to relaunch that.
There it is.
And now he has it on his shell right there. Now,
Show that. There it is.
that's the operating system.
So now we're going to do download.
At this point, I'm just just going to keep scrolling this because if the phone auto locks,
This crowd, right?
crap. Yeah. And I think it's a lowercase c. I don't know. It is. And then we're done.
That's working. Pretty good.
Thanks, Cisco.
And I accidentally launched that. Now it's So it died out, so I'm going to relaunch that app again. So he gets the shelf back. Okay, now he has the shelf. And now he can pretty much do whatever he wants. He has full access to my phone. He can access all the services. He can pull up geolocation. He can go through my contacts, download my contacts, go through my pictures, download my nudie pictures.
Sure that is the neighborhood piece?
I can check. Did you put the slash in front of it? Capitals. Oh, I know why. I named it crowd.jpg.
Oh, okay. You only named it
Because I'm dumb.
in that case, then we can do this. Let's see. What is that again?
Okay, it's crowd with a capital C, then JPEG. Not then JPEG.
Second, go for it. Open it.
Okay, leave it back show.
It's crowd. Right? There it is.
So now he's downloading the picture that I took of you guys earlier from my phone to his through the background shop.
It's a crowd. Notice that it's now loading it. So it goes, it takes some time to do the extra traces. So here's where the shell gets a little flaky. So the connections, you see how it's little by little showing up. So I'm able to extra trace the information. Obviously, it's by experience, there might be awesome pictures inside the phone, but if they are very big, it's going to take you forever to take them out. So obviously, the size of the file matters, and obviously the type of connection matters. So in this case, we're using the Wi-Fi. We were able to do this via GSM or CDMA when we did it, in 2 cities. But pretty much it's just a proof of concept of it. It's, did it die? Like I said, was there running? Okay. So usually what happens is if you put like these 18 megapixels, it would be like a 10 megabyte picture, and it would not show up. But in this case, for example, we're looking at, as you can see here, it's stuck on one point. But if we were looking at the other picture, which is the one that you see in the afterglow, then we download this through this phone. Right? We did this for demonstration purposes. The compromise of the phone with tools that are already out there, it's not a big deal. The problem is what this opens. Right? Chip in there. In a few years, we're going to have chips that have GPS. They have a more higher processing power. And we know that they chatter, for example, on terrorists about implanting explosive inside them. You could buy a technology like this with explosive. This is pretty bad. This is a nightmare scenario, right? This is a nightmare scenario. That's what keeps me up at night. Perfect. Right? Before we did it because we wanted you to see an example. It's a visualization of what you can do. But in reality, is what this opens the door to. And I hope there is, we have obviously make this public, we hope to create awareness, and we help, law enforcement, government, and everybody that is related to this, think about this. Because if you go with this right now in the airport, they won't catch you, right? I can think of the scenarios that I can probably make this work right now. So we're just showing you. It's a proof of concept, right? It's not, some people, when they saw the action, they were like, oh, yeah, that's easy. Well, okay, it's easy because we want you to see it and we want you to replicate it. It's the reason why we did it that way. And with that, we will take your questions.
Yeah, he's asking about why I didn't just scroll the thing all the time. And that's because if with the stock APK, if the phone locks, it cancels out the session. So he basically loses his show. So I have to keep it open so that it doesn't lock.
Yeah, it showed that. That's the question. That actually has to do with the technology. That does not mean that you can recode or use some type of code and make a payload that is actually allows you to entrench it. Meaning it will connect back. Regardless if you put the phone off as soon as the phone comes back, just like it happens with computers, it will connect back.
So that's kind of that can be seen as the hack.
Right now, yes. Well, I am certainly think it's possible based on what I see in the market and some of the things that I see in that particular community. That this is probably possible right now. We're using a community pretty available. Usually the community stuff is a notch down for what the actual contractors and the military consider that.
No, he's asking, can anybody track me with the chip? And the answer is no, because the transmission distance of the frequency of the chip is about 3 centimeters. So you can track me within 3 centimeters. Yeah. Yes.
Is that installer kit? Like, does it have the chip in there, like one-time use, or?
Yeah, it's a one-time use installer, stab and shoot.
Okay, and does it have the chip in it?
Yeah. The chip is already inside, it's sterilized, it's ready to go.
Okay.
Question. Have you guys tried that behind a trusted site as the payload delivery, like the watering hole, where they go to download the APK? How does it affect the notifications that the user
Okay,
gets?
so he's asking, have we tried testing it with a trusted site? And we have not.
In order to do that, you have to obtain the certificate, which
Sure.
is possible. We have seen a series of certificate authorities that have been compromised. As soon as if I can compromise or get a hold of a certificate that is valid, you probably will begin to see the
Or
more data.
Or hijack somebody to hack.
Right. We decided to do it with Android. Usually Android is easier to compromise than iOS. And Apple actually, to give this some credit, they actually have a very stringent process of verifying and checking on their applications. Any other questions?